Hey everyone, I'm Bradford with the Penny Pinterest Guide to Personal Finance. I've had the AMEX Hilton Honors Aspire card for just over a year and a half now, so I've decided it's time to put together an updated review since I've actually had the opportunity to test out all the card's different features. In this review, I'll start out by breaking down the different benefits of the card, and then I'll wrap up with what I found is the best way to maximize your value. I have to start with the annual fee for the Aspire card, which comes in at a hefty $450 a year. While there are other premium travel cards that are more expensive, $450 is still a lot of money for a single credit card. Whether or not this annual fee is worth it to you is really going to come down to how much you actually travel and whether or not you like the Hilton Honors brand. If you don't travel much, or if you prefer other hotel chains, the card is probably not going to be a good fit for you. On the other hand, if you do travel a lot, whether for work or for pleasure, and you like staying at Hilton hotels, you can easily recoup the annual fee many times over by using the benefits I'm about to discuss. Starting with the points multipliers for different spending categories. All of the points that you earn are going to be in the form of Hilton Honors points, which come in at an average valuation of ½ cent per point. So basically, I'm going to try to convert all of these points that you're going to earn for the different spending categories to a cashback equivalent, but I will caveat all of that with how much you actually like staying at Hilton Honors is going to give you a true, more one-to-one actual cashback equivalent if you do travel and stay at a lot of Hilton properties. But if you don't travel as often, you're going to have to discount what this cashback equivalent is to whatever you feel like is going to be fair. But for me, I'm going to basically break everything down to a true one-to-one cash equivalent and do that discount on your own. It's going to be different for person to person. Now, the highest spending category that you're going to get points for is going to be spending at Hilton properties and resorts. With a 14 times points multiplier, that's going to give you approximately 7% cash back right from the get-go at any properties that you stay at with Hilton. Now, there's going to be another benefit I'm going to talk about later in this video that is actually going to compound with this and is going to give you a much better valuation whenever you stay at a Hilton property. Then the next highest spending category is going to be on select travel. Then it's going to be a 7 times points multiplier for any travel that you book directly through an airline or through the AMEX travel portal. Now, this is going to come out to be roughly a 3.5% cashback equivalent, which is definitely better than some general cashback credit cards, but with specialized travel cards, you can definitely get a better valuation like the Amex Platinum card or the Amex Gold card. And the next highest spending category coming in again, another 7 times points multiplier, is going to be on dining. Now, this is a pretty good points multiplier if you don't have another specialized card for dining out. And I did use the Aspire card as my designated dining out card for about a year before I picked up the Amex Gold card, which, just based on how they do their points multipliers, you earn 4 times membership rewards points, which are Amex points, and then you can transfer those at a 2-to-1 valuation to Hilton Honors, which basically gives you 8 Hilton Honors points if you decide to do that transfer for every dollar spent with the Gold card. But that's a separate cards review, and if you're interested in that, check it out right here. And then aside from those top 3 spending categories, everywhere else that you spend money on, you're going to get a 3 times points multiplier, which comes out at roughly 1.5% cash back. Now, if you do have a pretty good general aspect card, like the Citi Double Cash card, which is going to give you 2% on your spending, use that instead. So I would really just use this card for spending at Hilton properties. You could use it as a designated card for spending on airfare, on booking through the Amex travel portal, or for dining, but I really think there are better cards out there that you could use instead that do have lower annual fees. So for this card, the best spending category is definitely going to be when you spend it on Hilton properties. Now, the next benefit I want to focus on is going to be the weekend night certificates. So when you sign up for the Aspire card, you're going to receive this certificate 8 to 12 weeks after your initial sign up, and then every card anniversary that you have after that, you'll receive it on that anniversary. But what is the weekend night certificate? Basically, you can use this and you can redeem it for almost any hotel room that is considered a standard night reward, which I'll talk about in a second, on any weekend night. So that'd be a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and you can redeem it, and it's going to cover the cost of the hotel room, as well as any taxes and fees, and any sort of resort fees if you stay at a Hilton property that is a resort. Now, to decide whether something is considered a standard night reward as opposed to a premium night reward, if you just go over to the Hilton Honors website and you type in a search and you try to search with points, it's going to come up with a bunch of different properties, and it's going to tell you how many points those cost, and underneath those points it'll say standard night reward, or it'll say premium night reward. So you cannot use your weekend night certificate on any rooms that are considered premium night rewards, but you can use them on any property, no matter how much it costs, if it is considered a standard night reward. So this is where you can really get a ton of bang for your buck and basically recoup your entire annual fee in one go. Well, you could go stay in a regular property, say like a Hampton or an Embassy Suites, and that's going to save you approximately $100 to $200 depending on where you're staying. Where you're really going to get the most money for this valuation is if you go and stay at a top tier property. Like if you go stay at this Waldorf Astoria that's in Park City, Utah, this would normally cost you over $500 a night before you add in any sort of fees like the taxes as well as the resort fees that are going to be tagged up on top of that. But if you use your weekend night certificate, you're going to be able to get all of that completely for free. Now, if getting a valuation of $500 for your weekend night certificate isn't enough for you, how about we take a look at the Maldives, staying at the Conrad by Hilton out in the Maldives, which is normally going to cost you over $1,100 a night. If you use your weekend night certificate there, the yacht is going to be completely for free. Now, I understand for most people, they're not going to travel to be able to use this weekend night certificate someplace exotic. They're not going to spend thousands or even tens of thousands of dollars to go to the Maldives to use their weekend night certificate. But what I think of real value in it is a nice weekend getaway for yourself or your spouse. Go and easily stay at someplace that would normally cost you several hundreds of dollars, and that's money that's going to be saved back in your pocket because you're using your weekend night certificate. But even if you're not able to take advantage of using it on a higher end property, you're easily going to be able to use it towards just a regular stay somewhere, which is probably going to be $100 to $200 back in your pocket like I mentioned previously. The next benefit we're talking about is going to be the $250 Hilton Resort property credit. So this is a statement credit that'll be applied to your credit card, and you can use it towards whatever you want other than actual price of staying at a Hilton Resort. You could use it for a really nice dinner out with your spouse. Maybe you just use it for a couple of massages, but $250, well, I would discount that slightly because I'm not normally going to go stay at a Hilton Resort property just because they're much more expensive and they do have those additional resort fees that are tacked on top of it. But if I'm going to go stay someplace, I'm going to be able to use this to supplement what I would normally be spending on food anyway or experiences if the resort offers them. And another benefit on here is going to be the Priority Pass Select, which is really great if you travel a lot. So if you don't already have this card, the Priority Pass Select, it's basically going to get you into over 1,300 different lounges that are at airports across the world. Now, the value that I'm actually going to place on that is basically you're able to not just go sit in the regular terminal, you're able to sit in a more secluded space, have a little bit more privacy. Some lounges have private rooms, some of them have showers, a lot of them have full buffets or even sit-down service along with open bars. Now, what I would normally spend for me and my wife is probably going to be $15 to $20 a person if we're just going to go sit in the terminal and eat somewhere. So I would place at least that value on being able to get the food and the monetary savings, not including just the more like qualitative savings of being able to sit in a nicer place and have some better service than just sitting at a regular seat in the terminal. And now we get to what I consider to be the creme de la creme of the benefits that come along with the Hilton Aspire card, and that is going to be instant Hilton Honors Diamond status as soon as you get the card. Now, normally to earn Hilton Honors Diamond status, you have to spend 42 nights a year with Hilton to be able to earn this status. So that's a lot of money that you're instantly saving by immediately being upgraded to the top tier loyalty status that Hilton offers. Now, the tiers go, they're just a basic one where you don't spend any money. Then they have a silver tier, gold tier, and then the diamond tier. So diamond, like any other loyalty program, when you reach that top tier, you're also going to get all the benefits of the lower tiers. Now, I think there's two benefits that stand out from the silver and the gold tiers that are definitely going to be saving you money. The first one is that you're going to have breakfast included at any Hilton property. Now, this really isn't going to be any monetary savings if you're staying at any of the lower or the middle tier properties that Hilton offers, like a Hampton, a True, Embassy Suites, any of those places that have breakfast already included. But if you are staying at a higher end property, getting breakfast included can easily be worth $15 to $30 per person because you also get breakfast included for one guest with your stay at any of those properties. So not really worth anything at a lower tier property, but if you're staying someplace where breakfast would cost you money, you're at least going to have it included, or they're going to give you a statement credit for your stay there, whether it's $15 all the way up to $30, depending on where in the world that you're actually staying. And then the other benefit that you get which is included with the lower loyalty status tiers, is that going to be that if you book a stay with all points and you stay there 5 nights in a row, the 5th night is complimentary, and you can use this all the way up to a 20-night stay. So if you stay there for 20 nights, you booked it with all points, the 5th, the 10th, 15th, and 20th night, which would all be free. Now, there's a couple different ways you can do this. Either you're saving more money or you're getting a better per point valuation when you're actually booking with those points. So the ways I've looked at it, I've easily been able to see where you go from, instead of just a half a cent per Hilton Honors point that you're getting, you can get over 1 cent per point, all the way up to 1.5 cent per point valuation, depending on what sort of rewards that you're actually using and applying, and again, depending on which part of the world you're staying in and the time of year. Now on to the actual benefits that are exclusive to having the diamond status. Now this one is actually going to stack with that other one with the spending of 14 points per dollar spent on Hilton properties. As a diamond member, you're instantly going to get 20 points per dollar spent at any Hilton property. And so these two benefits are actually going to stack on top of each other. So with your diamond status, because you have your Aspire card, and when you spend money with your Aspire card at a Hilton property, you're going to get 34 points per dollar spent, which comes back to a cash valuation, approximately 17% savings. And really what this is going to help you do is if you travel a lot, especially if it's for work and your company is the one that's paying for your stays, you're going to be able to rack up points super duper fast. And this is going to allow you to use those points on those aspirational type of trips that you want to take, not the ones that your company is telling you to travel for. Another diamond status benefit is that you're going to be at the top of the list for space available upgrades to better rooms. Now, in my personal experience, I have not ever actually had a space available upgrade depending on where I've stayed. Most of the time when I'm traveling and it's not like a big vacation like my wife and I did for our 5-year anniversary a couple months ago, most of the time we're going to stay at like a Hampton or Embassy Suites, something that's more middle of the road. But if you do stay at a higher end property, I've heard particularly over in Europe or just basically not in the United States, you have a much higher chance of being upgraded into a better room. Now this could easily be hundreds of dollars or even thousands of dollars of valuation per night for your experience. Now, a great one that I saw was if you go over to the Meet Sebi channel, he talked about his trip to the Maldives, how he was upgraded his room from basically the base level that he booked with points to a beach villa. And that way it was basically a difference of about $1,000 a night if he had just paid with cash instead of booking with points and getting that upgrade because of his diamond status. And then the last diamond status benefit that I think is really nice is that if you stay at any Hilton property that has an executive lounge, regardless of what room you stay in, because normally you would have to stay on the executive floor to get access to it, as a diamond member, you're automatically going to have access to it regardless of the room. And the executive lounge, from my experience, it could be anywhere from heavy hors d'oeuvres all the way up to a full buffet and even like full dining service along with an open bar. And now if you tack in together the fact that you're getting your breakfast included and your dinner included, if you decide to eat out at the executive lounge itself, I would say, because it includes you and a guest, is easily $30 per person that you would be spending eating out someplace else, but you can save that money by deciding to eat in at the lounge with this additional benefit that you get as a diamond member. So with all those benefits I've discussed, what is the best way to maximize your value with the Aspire card? Talking first with the spending categories, I don't think it's really worth using it for either general spending, the dining category, or the select travel category, just because there are different cards that are going to give you a much better valuation. I think using the card exclusively for spending at Hilton properties is really the way to go, because you're able to stack the benefit of the diamond status as well as the spending card multiplier to get that 34 points per dollar spent. So you're going to be able to really rack up Hilton Honors points much faster than you would otherwise. And I think that's probably the best valuation that you're going to get from the spending category multiplier. And then once you have racked up all those points, if you can, when you're planning your trips and your vacations, try to do them in multiples of 5, so that way you're always going to get that 5th night free when you book with all points, which is definitely just going to stretch your points further out, and you're going to get a better value for those points when you do ultimately spend them. And when you do take a trip, if you can, if you're going someplace or based on wherever you want to go, if you can stay at a Hilton Resort property, when you book it with all points, the resort fees and taxes, which are normally just stacked up on top, whatever you'd be paying with cash, those are included with your points. And then you can also use that $250 resort credit to spend on any additional dining at that resort. Last year, I actually found out a really nifty way that I didn't realize was a benefit that you could use with the resort credit. I did the Hilton Grand Vacations package, did a little vacation to Las Vegas, and then they offered me an additional program where I could sign up for their Hilton Grand Vacations VIP program, which was basically 7 days, 6 nights at a variety of locations to let me try out what it would be like to be an actual Hilton Grand Vacations owner. And when I paid with my Hilton Aspire card, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a great points multiplier. What I didn't realize is that when I paid with Hilton Grand Vacations, that triggered it as a resort. So I actually got the resort credit for the entire vacation package that I paid. So instead of paying $1,600, I actually paid $1,350 because that resort credit took up a part of the chunk of money and was a statement credit back to me, which I thought was like, hey, we're gonna end up using this for a Hawaii vacation next year. And the fact that we're able to spend basically a whole week in Hawaii for only $1,350 and make a big family vacation out of it, that is a great way to maximize my savings. But even if you don't have that opportunity, if you go look at the Hilton offers page, you're probably going to see the Hilton Grand Vacations offers that are on there. That's usually advertised as like a 4-day, 3-night opportunity, and you're going to get some certain amount of Hilton Honors points included. A lot of the times, those things are going to be priced between probably the $150 to $250 price range. And I don't know for sure, but I would imagine that if you paid for that with your Aspire card, it will trigger the resort credit that you have, and that could basically mean a 4-day vacation that's yours completely for free. And then the last benefit that I really think can help you maximize your valuation for what you're actually getting from the card is going to be that weekend night certificate. Now, it's going to take a little bit of research on your part to be able to get the most value for it. You're going to have to stay at places that are normally going to be categorized as premium night rewards, so you normally wouldn't be able to use your weekend night certificate for it. But a lot of those places like Waldorf Astoria and any of their higher end resorts, based on the time of the year, those premium nights are actually going to get converted back to standard night reward. And so even though you normally be spending $500, $600, even over $1,000 in some instances, you can still use your weekend night certificate to stay at those places. And because you are a Diamond member, you might even get upgraded. So instead, with that resort that I mentioned earlier with the Conrad, the base level that you could pay, the lowest option that you can actually pay is like $1,100 a night. But you could easily get upgraded to something that's normally $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000 a night if they do have that space available. And with your Diamond status, you might very well get actually upgraded to it. So that weekend night certificate couldn't just be a few $100s. It could actually be several $1,000s back in your pocket if you get lucky and actually happen to have space available to be upgraded. And then another way that I've seen to be able to get the most bang for your buck is if you do like a sort of family vacation and you actually book everybody's rooms with your card. Because you have Diamond status, you might be able to, depending on what the hotel says, you might be able to actually extend your Diamond status to everybody else because you booked all of the rooms. So that means if there's an executive lounge, they might get access to the executive lounge. If you have to pay for breakfast normally, if it's like a DoubleTree or any of their higher end properties, everybody in your party could potentially, if you play your cards right, working with management, everybody could get their breakfast included. So it's not just a way to benefit yourself, it could benefit your friends, your family, anyone that you're traveling with at the same time. Now, after all those benefits and all the different ways to try to make the most value of them, you still decide that the Aspire card isn't a right fit for you, definitely check out our reviews of some other great travel cards and cashback cards that we've done on our channel. Thanks for joining me today, and as always, from your first penny, from your first million, we're here to help.